I've talked about in the past how there is seemingly no perfect time to end a series unless you hit the full 25 years, because other than that, you're always going to have the question marks of what happened or what would have happened had we moved forward. Unfortunately, we're already a week into August. It's quite late in the year, and we're pretty much out of time. Unfortunately, as well, as I've mentioned, I'm really botching this intro, but I'm going to keep it because why the hell not? As I've mentioned as well, certain series went later into the year than they were supposed to. Just schedule-wise, I didn't hit the mark exactly. So that brings us to this episode where we're going to say that's it. And while there are still questions to be answered with this team, and I'm intrigued to see how things would go if we moved forward, we're going to have to call it here. We have our Stanley Cup victory at the very least. This team is obviously set up in a very interesting way. If we wanted to pose it as like, oh, we got to make sure we leave the team in a better spot than where we left it, than where we took over, I would say that we've done that. And obviously, it sucks. I want to see what Brent Timmins is capable of, although you could argue in his limited time, only 2 seasons as a starter, especially after that playoff performance, he may be Hall of Fame worthy. Maybe. And I imagine if we were to continue on the next 8 years or so, he would continue to be a dominant goaltender. But like I mentioned, we have about a month left. And looking at what I'm trying to balance right now with the Buffalo series, the Milwaukee series, adding Madden to the channel along with MLB The Show, it has to be done. It has to be done. We need to be able to grind out as much of those last 2 series as we can up until really just days before NHL 19 comes out. Then we do the Hall of Fame stuff. You know, the first team, we have the voting for who are the best players in the game for us this year. And then we start anew with NHL 19. And I don't want to stretch myself too thin heading into 19. And while I thought I could kind of balance it out, well, that's not going to be the case, I've discovered. So we are going to take a step back. Your job at this point is to vote down in the comments below, or nominate players in the comments down below for who we should vote on. The next episode from here will be voting on those players that you nominated, and then the final episode, which will be up relatively quickly, I hope, will be the Hall of Fame results for this series. So, like I mentioned, if we want to look at this from did we leave the team in a better spot on the way out than we inherited, we absolutely did. I mean, of course, it was a fantasy draft, though. Brent Timmins, again, an amazing goaltender. Ben DeHaan coming up through the system. Defensively, McAvoy, Werenski, Reimer, Blunden, Ernie, Olsen, Pellick, Valisi, Estells, all, there's so much talent on this team. And it is kind of a shame that we're not going to be able to fully see it out, but we did accomplish our goal of winning. So, Cairns, Eddie, Chow, the next generation, they're already here on this team. Like I said, I'd like to see how it plays out, but who knows? I mean, if we could have started the series a little bit earlier in the year, I think it would have gone a tad bit better. But it is what it is. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys, as I mentioned in the comments. Nominate players you think are Hall of Fame worthy for this series. And who knows, maybe this is something, same really with the Ottawa series. Maybe this is something that I revisit on Twitch down the road for a flashback series. Who knows, maybe that's what we do at some point. And if I do end up doing that, maybe I'll upload the end result to YouTube. And that way people can see, okay, here's what would have happened with the team. But for now, as far as the regular uploads and the run that we're on, it is over. So I say, one more time, thank you very much for the support on this series. Looking forward to seeing who the Hall of Famers are for this series and whether or not we have any competition for any of those first team spots as far as the best of the best from every series we've had in NHL 18. So again, thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.